Okay, so I literally just got 1,000 subscribers, and after making this video, I'm gonna end up with only 100. Hi folks, Harry here, and I'm absolutely petrified to make this video because today I'm going to be sharing with you some of my most unpopular bookish opinions. So today I'm going to be talking about loads of really popular books, quite mainstream books, and be sharing my unpopular opinions about them. So maybe it's I really hate a book that everyone seems to love, I really love a book that everyone seems to hate, I don't love a specific aspect of a book that people are liking. You'll get the gist of it. Also, I want you to be thankful that I'm making a video for you because for the first time in about 48 hours I've stopped streaming Olivia Rodrigo's new album. Okay? If you haven't listened to Olivia Rodrigo's new album, do it. Just do it. Okay, so right away I'm going to infuriate all the Sarah J Maas fans because I really hated A Court of Wings and Ruin. Am I allowed to say that on BookTube? I feel like the BookTube community are just gonna band together and demonetize me before I'm even eligible for monetization. So everyone seems to love the A Court of Thorns and Roses trilogy, and I do love A Court of Thorns and Roses. The first book and the second book, not the third book. The first book was very good. It's a Beauty and the Beast retelling with a fantasy, fae element, and I really enjoyed it. A Court of Mist and Fury kind of branched off from that Beauty and the Beast retelling and became smut, but I enjoyed it. It was enjoyable smut. This book, on the other hand, just took everything I loved about the ACOTAR trilogy and destroyed it. It was unnecessarily long. I don't understand why YA fantasy sequels are so long, but they are, and I just have to deal with it. But really, if I want to read a long YA fantasy book, I'll choose some Cassandra Clare. Speaking of Cassandra Clare, Sarah J Maas took something that Cassandra Clare did in City of Glass and did it in a much cheaper way that really infuriated me, and I just did not enjoy it. And it was just so bloody boring. The plot was really convoluted. I had no idea what was going on, and I just did not enjoy it. So rest in peace all of the Sarah J Maas fans because y'all are gonna kill me. Okay, so next up I'm gonna infuriate more people by saying that I think that Twilight is good. Alright, that might be a bit of an overstatement. Twilight is but it is enjoyable and you can't deny that. I understand that Twilight is not high literature. I understand that it's not high quality writing, and in general, it's not a good book. But I love it. I love it so much. I don't care that it's bad writing. I don't care that it feels really juvenile. I just enjoy the story for what it is. This book never tried to be high literature, and it doesn't claim to be. It's just a story that is accessibly told with very interesting characters, mildly interesting characters, that you can read really quickly and enjoy. So people often hate on Twilight by saying, oh, it's trash. Yes, it's trash, but if you go into it knowing that it's trash and you just want to have a good time, you can't really go wrong with Twilight. It's so cringe, it's laughably bad, but I find enjoyment in the fact that it's bad. And I love this series to death. I still haven't read Midnight Sun, which is something that I do need to do, but I just really like Twilight, so don't kill me. Obviously I know there are definitely better portrayals of vampires in literature, like, I mean, you've got Anne Rice's entire bibliography, you've got Salem's Lot, you've got Dracula, I know all of that, but there's nothing wrong with having a little bit of fun with some cheesy vampires. I'm just gonna mentally prepare for all of the hate comments that are about to flood in, because I'm about to say I didn't like Percy Jackson. Might as well just nail my hands to my bookshelf and just shoot me a million times with an AK-47, because so many people love the Percy Jackson series, and I do not. Admittedly, I've only ever read the first book, and I'm sure that the series probably gets better, but the problem I had with The Lightning Thief is, yes, it was enjoyable, but after reading it, I had no desire to carry on with the series, and that is what I think makes a bad opening book. I had no desire whatsoever to read, what's the next book called? Sea of Monsters. I just do not want to read it at all. This book did not draw me in enough to make me want to pick up that second book and carry on with the series. So yeah, it was an enjoyable read, but I could not care less if it was a standalone. So next up isn't about a specific book, but it's just something that I want to address, I want to speak about, and I just want to share my opinion about. I genuinely believe that the education system has ruined the enjoyment of reading. Books were not created to be analysed. Books were created to put a story onto paper. I've just realised my shelf is missing Pet Sematary. That's better. Books were created to be enjoyed and read. And I think that the education system has made reading seem more like a chore than a hobby. That is why very, very few kids and teenagers, probably more so teenagers, try to edge away from reading and they don't really enjoy it that much. And I think schools should actively try to make reading seem more like a hobby rather than homework. Like me personally, I love reading books. It's, if you can't tell, kind of my pride and joy. And it actually really, really upsets me that a lot of people my age tend to not read anywhere near as much as I do, because reading is meant to be fun. Like, not every book is a 1,000-page classic. Like, you can get books like these, and these, and these, and these, that are meant to be enjoyed by younger people. And I don't know if I've ever actually publicly stated this, but my goal with Other Worlds Than These is to try to convince younger people that reading is a hobby, and it should be something that can be enjoyed. Okay, so next up, I don't know if I'm gonna get crucified or not, and that is, I didn't really like Shadow and Bone. So recently, Shadow and Bone has been adapted into a new Netflix series which has been incredibly successful and very well received. But I have not watched it yet because I'm kind of hesitant because I did not like Shadow and Bone. I just think that this story was so generic and it just didn't really drag me in. The last one I'm going to talk about is the Eldest Curses trilogy, which at the moment only has 2 books. The Eldest Curses series follows Magnus Bane and Alec Lightwood from the Shadowhunter Chronicles in their own spin-off trilogy. And these books just don't get nearly enough attention as they probably should. I have to say, The Red Scrolls of Magic was far better than Lost Book of the White, but they're just enjoyable reads and they don't get enough attention. So if you have read any of the Shadowhunter Chronicles, then you should definitely give it a go if you haven't already. And if you haven't read any of the Shadowhunter Chronicles, do not read this because they are filled with spoilers for the Mortal Instruments series and sometimes the Dark Artificers. Okay, so those are all of the unpopular bookish opinions I have that I'm comfortable sharing, because I have a few that would actually get me crucified. If you're wondering why I didn't mention any Stephen King books on this list, that is because I'm planning on making a separate video just about Stephen King unpopular opinions, so stay tuned for that. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big fat thumbs up, and please consider subscribing to see more bookish content from me. Also, please comment below if you agree with any of my unpopular opinions. Oh my god, I nearly choked on my own breath. And also let me know what your unpopular bookish opinions are in the comments down below. All of my social media links are in the description below, and I will see you next time with a new video. Goodbye.